Hi everyone. So we'll continue memorizing from the book of Hebrews. So today we are going to memorize Hebrews chapter 5 verse 6. So I'll read that first. As he says also in another place, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. As he says also in another place, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. I'll read Hebrews chapter 5, 4 to 6. And one does not take the honor upon himself, but he is called by God just as Aaron was. So also Christ did not exalt himself to be made a high priest, but was appointed by him who said to him, "You are my son, today I have begotten you." As he says also in another place, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. So today we are going to meditate verse 6. You are, as he says also in another place, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. So who is Melchizedek and what is the priestly order of Melchizedek? So let's see that. So if you see in the Old Testament, only in two places we see about Melchizedek, right? Only one is given in Genesis and another in Psalms. So I'll read those two. Genesis 14:18, that's the first reference of Melchizedek. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed him and said, "Blessed be Abraham by God Most High, maker of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand." And Abraham gave him a tenth of everything. So that's the first reference of Melchizedek. So what do we read here? Melchizedek, he is king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of God Most High. So that is his identity, right? So we don't know about the identity of Melchizedek. Nothing else is mentioned, and even in the history, from history also, we don't know who is Melchizedek. Only thing we know is from what is given in Genesis, right? So he was priest of God Most High, and he is king of Salem. So only these two things we know. He is a king and a priest, right? So king and priest of God Most High. So in Old Testament, he was the only priest who was mentioned as priest of God Most High. Other priests are there, but this reference, right? Priest of God Most High is given only for Melchizedek. So he was king of Salem and he was a high priest. So the second reference is given in Psalm 110:4. That is Psalm 110:4. The Lord has sworn and he will not change his mind. You are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. So that's a messianic promise, right? So here Psalm 110:4, the Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. So who is this Melchizedek? So we don't know much about Melchizedek. We only know that he is the priest of God Most High, and he welcomed Abraham when he came back after defeating his enemies, and he offered sacrifices. He offered bread and wine as sacrifice and gave to Abraham. Right? That's all we know about the identity of Melchizedek. So he is a king and a priest. But when we come to the New Testament time, in Hebrews, in multiple chapters, we see the reference of Melchizedek. So all are quoting from Psalm 110, right? So I'll read few of all of that. So in Hebrews 5:6 that we read today, that's the first reference. As he also says in another place, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. So that is taken from Psalm 110. Then in Hebrews 5:10, again it's given, being designated by God a high priest according to the order of Melchizedek. Again in 6:20 we see where Jesus has gone as a forerunner on our behalf, having become a high priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. Again in 7:11 it's given, another priest according to the order of Melchizedek. Now if perfection had been attainable through the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need would be there have been for another priest to arise according to the order of Melchizedek, rather than the one named according to the order of Aaron? So until then, people know only the Levitical order of the priesthood, right? The Jewish people were following that Levitical order. That's what it's given. For Now, if perfection had been made attainable through the Levitical priesthood, what further need would have been for another priest to arise according to the order of Melchizedek, rather than one named according to the order of Aaron? So, the Levitical priest, or the priests who follow the order of Aaron, they are the priests, right, in the Israelite time. But Jesus is not in that order. Jesus is of the order of Melchizedek, right? So, that is given here. Another priest according to the order of Melchizedek. So the priesthood of Jesus, or the priesthood of Melchizedek, prefigures the priesthood of Jesus, right? So he is a priest according to the order of Melchizedek. Again, 17 it's given. For it is witnessed of him, you are a priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. So even though it's only mentioned in 2 places in Old Testament, in New Testament, especially when we talk about the high priesthood of Jesus, this particular reference is quoted multiple times. So that shows the priest, or the Melchizedek actually prefigures Christ, or the priesthood of Melchizedek is it prefigures the priesthood of Christ, right? So if you see here, right, in Genesis 14:18, we see that Melchizedek, king of Salem, right? So Salem, in another place we see that it stands for Jerusalem. I'll just read that. Psalm 76:2, his abode has been established in Salem, his dwelling place in Zion. So he is the king of Jerusalem. So later, much later, Jerusalem has become the center of the Jewish culture, or the Jewish tradition, or the Jewish religion, we can say, right? Much before that, he was the king of Salem. His abode has been established in Salem, his dwelling place in Zion, right? So in Genesis 14:18, we say Melchizedek, king of Salem. So he is the king of Jerusalem. So Jesus is the king of the new Jerusalem, or the heavenly Jerusalem, right? So we see that in Hebrews 12, you have come to Mount Zion and to the city of living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to innumerable angels in festal gathering. So we already meditated on that earlier when we studied chapter 1 or 2. I don't remember exactly now. So we meditated on that, right? So Jesus is the king of heavenly Jerusalem, right? So like that, Melchizedek is also the king of Jerusalem, and he is also the priest of God Most High. Like that, Jesus is also the high priest. So Melchizedek is also a king and a priest. Jesus is also a king and priest, right? He is the priest of Jerusalem, the heavenly Jerusalem. Melchizedek is the priest of earthly Jerusalem, and Jesus is the priest of heavenly Jerusalem. Also here we see that the king Melchizedek offer bread and wine, right? So even today in the altar we offer bread and wine, and that is transubstantiated into the body and blood of Christ. So in Genesis 14:18 we read, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High. So Jesus is the new high priest in the order of Melchizedek. So that is what the book of Hebrews teaches us. So with that, I'll conclude today's meditation. I'll read that again. Hebrews chapter 5 verse 6. As he says also in another place, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. Thank you. God bless you all.